My name is Warren. Welcome back to this Introduction to SQL course. Alright, what we're going to cover in this video is something called subqueries. So subqueries is a massive topic in its own, but what I want to do is just show you basically what a subquery is and give you a bit of an introduction to it. We will cover this in a lot of detail in future videos, but I think just to be aware of what a subquery is and how it works is really, really valuable as an introductory topic. So here we have our product table, which we've looked at a few times. What a subquery is, if you look at what a normal select statement is, we're going to select everything from a product table. So our data source is the product. Now, what we can do, we might have a very involved query that we need to write, where there's multiple sets of logic that need to be applied that we can't fit into one select statement. So that means that we can do nested select statements or subqueries. So we might need, let's look at the example here. So we want to know all sales for our products that have a unit price above 50. So here we could do a join with a having clause, but we can also do a subquery. So for starters, let's just have a look at all of our products that have a price above 50. So we run that and we have a look at it. Yeah, you can see we've got 3, 99.79 and 199. Now if we had to go and say, well, what is our total sales amount? So this is for our entire sales transaction table. So what the business question is what is our total sales for all products that have a unit price above 50? So we could look at this in different ways. I'm just going to use this example as a subquery. So we want to know in our entire transactional table, what is the sum of the quantity times unit price, or the total sales amount as we're going to call it, for all products that have a unit price above 50. So in other words, we want to find out the total sales for these products because they all have a unit price above 50. So we've had a look at this. We know that it's these three. Let's have a look at our total sales to make sure that this query is working. So this is the total sales for our entire table. We now want to look at only the sales for products that have a unit price above 50. So how would we do that? We know that this query is working because we tried it. And there it is. And we know that this query is working for our total. So what we can do, we can take this exact query and we can put it down here. And we can say select the total sales amount from the sales transaction table. We're calling that S, where S.product.id, so this product ID, or the product ID in the sales transaction table, is in, remember we did an in statement, this subquery. So instead of saying a where clause and putting a value in here like we did before, we said return the employees that have the name Larry, Harry, etc. Here we are putting another select statement inside this in. And in this little select statement, if we just run that, we're asking select the product ID. So only return the product ID. Here we returned everything. And we got the 3 records. We only want the product ID. So here we're saying return the product ID, 5, 9, and 10. And that is now being populated in our in statement. So this is saying go and select the total sales amount from the transaction table where the product ID is in this section. And that is going to be those 3 product IDs. So when we run this, it's going to be filtered by these 3 product IDs here. And there's the new amount. Our first amount was that. We're now looking at only the IDs that have a unit price above that, and that is our new total there. So that's what a subquery is. Instead of having where product ID in, we could just as well put those 3 IDs in here. So if I run this here, 5, 9, and 10, we could have gone here and said 5, 9, sorry, 5, 9, and 10, and close that and run that as our query. But instead we wanted it to be dynamic because anything might change in this table. We don't want to hard code values. Instead, we dynamically go and pull from this query these three. In a week's time, maybe the prices change and it becomes 4, becomes 5, maybe it becomes 2. At least we know this will dynamically update and it will filter our query by whatever the result set is in our subquery. So a subquery is a nested query within another query. So here's a select statement, and our where clause is looking at a subquery. So that is what subqueries are, very basic introduction to them. Thank you very much.